Welcome to another edition of 1 in 15. As ever, I'm going to get my guests to introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Stanley Osuide. I'm the CEO of Nigeria Investment Gateway. I'm also the CEO of African Investment Gateway, a venture capitalist company based here in the UK. And we do a lot of projects here in the UK and in Africa.
Brilliant. It's great to have you, Stanley. It's just interesting. I know you've got some fascinating stuff to talk about, and I know that your work takes you into interesting territories, not just geographically. As you know, the purpose of this thing is to think about big things that dominate our thinking. What is the one big thing dominating your thinking at the moment?
So at the moment, the big thing that is dominating my thinking is that while the world is slowed down with COVID, what can I do to expand my territory, expand the business, expand my colleagues? They're thinking, just try to get people thinking that while the world is slowed down, what can we do to enlarge what we're doing, to step up what we're doing, regardless of what the world is doing. So that's my one big thing at the moment.
Okay, great. That sounds interesting because on an initial listen, it does sound a bit counterintuitive because our instinct at the moment is maybe to retreat into ourselves. So much uncertainty, so much risk and real danger out there. We might want to protect what we have. So tell me a little bit more about what you mean by expanding your territory at this time.
Okay, so there are lots of things that we want to get on with. While the world was normal, while the world was normal, I would probably fit in 2 or 3 meetings in a day. And while the world was normal, I'll travel, I'll do some trips, some business transactions. But now that the world is not normal, there's different kind of opportunities. Now I could fit in 6, 7 meetings a day. Yeah. That's enlarging my territory. I don't have to jump on the bus, on the train to go to meetings. I don't have to fly out of the country anymore. Usually while the world was normal, it was normal that you have to fly into Nigeria to sign a big business deal. Right now, we're signing deals on a weekly basis, and we don't even leave our living room, So yes, the impact of the pandemic is real. It's real. There's no doubt about it. But this is also the time to step up and do those things that you never had the times to do or put in place for the business because you were too busy.
Yeah.
So this is the time, I call it enlarging your territory. I took that from the biblical verse. This is the time to enlarge your territory. Yes. So that's what we're doing right now.
So some of that is a recognition that some of the things we did, as you said, when the world was normal, whatever normal means, either then.
Absolutely, yes.
But that some of the practices that we used to do that used to take up more time, we've now recognized can take up less time, or certainly take up a different space in time. So you've mentioned that you don't have to physically go to those meetings, you can have them online, you can fit in more meetings. Now, on one level, that sounds great. On another level, I'm just thinking, 6 meetings in a day online, that's like a headspace job for me. But how can that enlarging your territory be productive without overstretching yourself or exhausting you?
Okay, so there are a few things that I try to do during the day. I have this routine that before I found it very difficult to put in place. So get up at 5 o'clock, spend an hour praying, just meditating about the things I want to achieve for the day and the things that I feel are larger than me as a man of faith. Take that to God and say, listen, this is what I'm dealing with at the moment. How do you help me with this? Then I set up my timetable and look at the meetings I have for the day. If I have them prepared for some of them the day before, I prepare beforehand. So usually those preparations are happening on the way to meetings or when you get there, you're finding 15 minutes to prepare things. But nowadays, we have so much more time in our hands. Again, part of that is opportunity to develop other people around me, my staff, so they don't they don't feel relaxed and think this is the time to relax. No, whatever I'm doing, I have more time to develop them now, fit them in, bring them into meetings that I couldn't bring them in before because they have to now leave a location to come with me easily. They could just dial into meetings. So my staff are getting more opportunity to learn what I do, which is again, enlarging our territory as a business because I'm replicating the things that I wasn't able to replicate before. So it's so many different ways that you can do that in this season that is happening right now. And it's just taking that initiative to see the opportunities right now to say, listen, this is the time to do things that you haven't been able to do before, be it online. Yes, I know the physical side of it is restricted and it's coming back again, but there's so much you can do online. Maybe pick up that online degree that you didn't have time to do before. This
Yeah.
is the time to do a 6-week course, a 4-week course, a 2-week course, that when the world gets back to whatever the norm is, at least you're one step ahead of where you were before all of this started.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do. That's what I meant by enlarging your territory.
I love that idea. I mean, with my coaching hat on, I'm really conscious of how energizing that is for some people and how exhausting that is for others. You know, there was a lot of pressure at the beginning of lockdown. Certainly in some of the circles I were, you know, the kind of the tweets that said, you know, if you haven't learned a new language or written that book in lockdown, then you were never too busy. You just didn't have the motivation. And I can see that. I can see where that's coming from. But equally, I guess from a coaching point of view, what I want to say back to you is sometimes enlarging your territory, I guess, can be being more as well as doing more, can't it? It can be, like you say, that taking that time out at the beginning of the day for you has been really, really helpful and wasn't something that you always had or allowed yourself to have time for. So it's not necessarily about doing more. It might just be about doing things better or doing different things. But absolutely, it might be about taking time to go, well, where do I have more time and how can I use that productively, whatever productive means to you?
Absolutely, I agree with you. When I say do more, it just seems like I seem to be achieving more with the time that I have. I have the same time, but I'm spending less of it traveling from venue to venue. I'm spending less of it flying. So more time with family, definitely, because during the lockdown, we're all in the house for months on end. So that has been a fantastic good thing. More time thinking about the work that I'm doing, not just making rash decisions, because there's no hurry. There's no hurry right now to make that business decision. You understand? There's no hurry right now to write off a deal that wasn't going well. Just give it more time. So you seem to have more time for everything. If you just slow down and look at it, there's now more time to do more in that sense. So I guess more time is what you have in your hand. My mentality as an ex-athlete is that when you have time, you put it to use in doing more. So I rest more now. Yes, absolutely, I rest more. But my days are quite compact and packed with meetings because I could do more of those meetings at the moment than usual. Yeah.
So I guess that's maybe going to be one of the gifts for a lot of us during this kind of weird year that we've had in 2020, where we've been forced, you know, through circumstances completely outside of our control, to go, how can I reassess how I use my time? It's, you know, time is one of the most valuable resources that we have, isn't it?
Yes.
And you know, I'm sure I'm not the only one who's actually I'm quite world class at wasting it or missing it or of not really using it. But, and or actually of you know of feeling guilty sometimes, you know, when I need to rest. You know, weirdly, when I need to rest are the times when I feel like I shouldn't. The times when I need to be doing stuff is the time when I'm, you know, quite instinctively want to go, I'll just, you know, watch a bit of telly or what have you. So it's kind of interesting. But as you say, that I suppose that kind of going back to the enlarging your territory thing. I mean, time is territory, isn't it? It's not a physical one, but
absolutely.
It's a metaphorical territory for us, and expanding our understanding of how we use that territory is maybe a really crucial thing for us right now.
Yes, and yes, you're right. When you say that, when I talk about territory, it's not necessarily meaning getting more companies growing. Or territory is your time, as you said. Territory is the partnerships that you form. Territory is the relationship that you form, that you put together. So people seem to be nowadays much more less of in a hurry to do things. They listen more nowadays. That's what I'm finding myself anyway. And I'm learning that people are much more willing to explore possibilities nowadays. Before, they were too busy because they were trying to get from one place to the other to even explore those things. But now they have so much time to do that. So expanding your territory just simply means, what is it that at the end of this you will have come out with and said it was the gift, if I could call it the gift of the pandemic, was that I gave myself this. I was able to do this. I think it would be a terrible waste of time if you were healthy through this period and there was no gift that you got out of this time. I think that would be quite wasteful. Ironically, I know it hasn't worked like that for other businesses. I know there are businesses that have suffered through this. I fully understand that. we've managed to grow one of our businesses in the last 6 months, a growth that would probably take 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
We managed that in 3 to 6 months, simply because everybody was able to listen and were able to reach people. People were able to, attend some webinars that before they wouldn't have the time to attend because they were sitting there. They just have to, or even just switch on their phone.
Yeah.
So the opportunities are there to enlarge your territory. If I can use that.
Okay, we're back after a brief internet blip. Stan, I'll let you carry on.
Fantastic. So what I was saying before the internet blip was that enlarging your territory is not necessarily going out there to do more, but just finding ways that you could improve what you're doing. Just setting yourself goals that you know that whatever everything is lifted and back to normal, at least you've used the period to achieve a few things going forward.
Sure.
One more thing I wanted to also mention was about how you help others develop. I've always thought legacy is about bringing others along. And that's something we're big on in my organization, to make sure that I'm developing, but what about my staff? What about the people that work with me, my partners? How are they developing over this period as well? So if you have a good relationship with other organizations, see how you can help them develop their staff in this period.
Sure.
I think that will make a vast amount of difference when we come out of this.
Yeah, that's super important. You know me well enough to know that was going to trigger me in a good way. That kind of, enlarging your territory in that context becomes about enlarging the impact of your work, which doesn't necessarily bring a tangible financial benefit to you. But I love that idea of that legacy of, how have like when you throw a stone into a pool and the ripples go out, let's increase our territory in terms of the ripples, the positive effects of who we are and what we're doing.
Absolutely. I'll give you an example. There's a business that's been trying to raise investment, and I've given them 3 days a week. And I said to them, listen, this is the time I'm giving you. If you can be there at that time, 3 days a week, I'll be there with you. But the time they chose is 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Nice.
So after I do my personal prayer and devotion, they're there 3 days a week. We've had this one already, 6 o'clock. I give them an hour. I look at their business. We're not getting anything from it. It's just helping them get their business investment ready to the point where if an investor comes in, they're able to look at the business and say, wow, yes, we like what we see. We like what you're doing. And that's what we can do now. Now, this is a business that will have gone out there to spend thousands of pounds to get the same service. But I'm able to give that right now because there's not too much happening around that distracting me to say. So I'm able to give that time, and it's an investment in them, which I know will pay off surely. So it's about giving of ourselves to others as well. It's very important.
Exactly, and the hope obviously is that if we don't get the impact of that they can play that forward to somebody else in time.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. Very important. Very important. Yes.
So we're nearly up. Who knows exactly with the kind of blip of the timing, but I think I've got the measure of it. If people are listening in and they're thinking, I love the idea, I get the idea that there's opportunity to expand my territory in whatever of those parameters we painted, but the reality is I feel exhausted, I feel frightened, I feel pressured, I'm scared. What advice can you offer them that they could to start that experience, to start engaging with that concept?
Okay, so the concept for me of enlarging your territory comes from there's all these things that you've always wanted to do, and you've always said you didn't have the time to do it.
Sure.
You have now. So that's the thing. So if you now have the time to do it and you're not doing it, the question is why?
Yeah.
How important was it to you in the first place? Maybe it wasn't. So enlarging your territory doesn't necessarily mean doing something new. It might just be additional things that you wanted to do. Start somewhere. Yeah. Is it about reading that book? I've attended so much webinars in the last few months that, right now I cannot see myself if I don't attend a webinar or two in a week, I feel something is missing, So I'm not one of those that can pick up the book and read easily because I get distracted, but I can attend lots of webinars. I can hear lots of speakers. So that's a way of enlarging my territory. And in those webinars, I'm building partnerships as well. So there are many things that you can do to enlarge your territory in that sense. Be it reading, be it attending webinars, be it forming new business relationships online, be it attending other people's webinars, be it giving your service to other people. Webinar to see And yes, I'm pointing that at you, Andy, giving your time to other people's webinar to see how you can contribute to what they're doing. I think listen, this is, sometimes we make excuses, oh, I don't have the time to do this. Nobody's asking you to go to Africa now to do that good deed that you've always thought you wanted to do. But you could jump on the internet and do it now because somebody's there waiting to listen. So it's just finding ways of putting those things in place for yourself.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's great advice. That's great advice. And again, you know, with my coaching hat on, I'm just thinking of all those conversations I've had with clients where sometimes an opportunity is recognizing what you don't want to do as well as what you do. You know, that you've had this, oh, I always want to do this thing, but actually it's somebody else's dream for you. It's somebody else's idea for you.
Absolutely.
And putting that down enables you to recognize what it is that you really want to do. And don't let anyone judge you on that one, but work out where you are the one restricting your potential, your territory, rather than somebody else.
Absolutely. I think it's Michelle Obama that says, do not judge your success on what other people think it is. Your success should be what you think it is. If right now, I've given myself, believe it or not, I've given myself time to learn how to swim. The pools have just opened. I cannot swim. All my kids are swimming. My wife can swim, but I can't swim. So I've said to myself, that's one territory I'm going to enlarge. By the time we go next on holiday, they will be shocked. My family will be shocked because they will see me swimming and they will not know how I got there. Because they laugh at me right now, Dad, you can't swim. I said, listen, I've got size 15 foot. I should be the best swimmer. Yeah. But I'm going to now secretly learn how to swim so that next time I could surprise them. That's enlarging my territory.
What a gift. What a gift. And I'm going to need to see the photo snaps of that when that happens.
Absolutely.
And I know you well enough to firmly believe that will come true. Absolutely. Stan, we've run out of time. Thank you. You've been a fascinating guest.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the opportunity.